so much for coming in for another Q&A video. Question number 1 is asking, is it okay to cross-list a book on Amazon and another platform, for example, Etsy, at the same time? And if you ever done this, has it caused any problems for you? No, I do it constantly. I do it not just with books, but with everything. Do you always ship your books media mail to save on the postage and fees? I do indeed. Definitely always use media mail. All right, number 3, speaking of postage fees, I've heard that using Amazon's postage is cheaper if you print it online. Is that what you do? How much cheaper is it? And do you know if priority mail rates are cheaper if you print the postage online too? I'm not sure about Amazon, to tell you the truth, because I have never used their online postage. I do it on eBay because I have a discount. Sometimes it's cheaper and sometimes it's not, and I don't know why. Number 4, do you purchase delivery confirmation to make sure customers receive their packages? If so, how much extra is this? I really don't know. I think it's $1 or $2. I only do that with expensive items. When I last sold an expensive $800 or so for the necklace, I did delivery confirmation, I did insurance, and I did personal delivery confirmation, which meant that that specific person that it was addressed to could be the only one to sign for it. I just don't do it unless it's requested, or unless I feel that the item is so expensive that I better do it. 5 is, what about tracking? Is that automatically included when you purchase your postage? I don't want to really get into that because with the new rates and all of that, I'm not too sure, so I'm going to have to pass on that. I just know that whenever I go. Number 6, how do you go about addressing or adhering the postage information to your package? Do you tape everything down with clear tape? If so, do you tape over the entire label, or do you make sure the barcodes are not taped over so that they can be scanned? Do you just use a Sharpie and handwrite the customer's address? For the eBay, if I buy the postage, my address and their address is printed as well, so I don't have to bother with the Sharpie. It's convenient to have a label printed because you can transcribe a wrong number and all hell will break loose. If I have to use a label that I print out without any adhesive on the back, I tape it. It doesn't bother me to tape it. I sometimes just do the perimeter, and sometimes I'll do one across. I don't mind covering the barcode. That doesn't really make any difference. 7 is, what do you use to print your shipping labels? An inkjet printer or a dynamo label marker? I don't know what a dynamo label marker is, so I guess I don't use that. Just a regular printer is what I use. I got lost with that other email, and I'm just going to have to move on to other questions, okay? Some nice comments on there, guys. I really appreciate it. Please be sure and post some more questions here on this video. I really appreciate all your questions and comments. I'm not sure how you pronounce that name, Rishstsa. And she says, great Q&A. I love watching your videos. Have you heard of the Mercari app? What do you think of it, and how does it compare with Poshmark, etc.? Those are both really intricate apps, and I have done several videos on both. I'm going to go ahead and link them here so you can take a look at them. I have used Mercari. I have listed a few things there. I have not sold anything there. I have actually had a listing removed, and I think I mentioned that they told me that I had a stock photo and that I was only allowed to use a stock photo if I used a real photo, and it was not a stock photo. It was a photo of myself sporting some Versace glasses, some big, what do you call them, shield style glasses. So apparently it was a good photo. I'm really flattered. I'm joking. I'm really flattered, really, though, because they thought it was a stock photo and they just removed it like that. It's kind of a weird app. I say that with a kind of, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe my feelings about Mercari. We have sort of a love-hate relationship. I love the fact that I have bought things there at very good prices. I found and bought my Louis Vuitton, no, not my 35, my Samour 43, I think it is, the huge. I also found a mini pochette there, and a Louis Vuitton mini pochette, and a Louis Vuitton pen case there. Several Louis Vuitton items. A Louis Vuitton tag, and kind of like this little, I forget what you call it, but it holds the handles on the Louis Vuitton. I had got it for the sack plait Louis Vuitton that I bought, but then I wound up selling it, so I didn't even need it, so I have to resell that. But it's definitely a love-hate relationship with Mercari, because I love the fact that people sell things cheaper there because there is no commission for the seller. She does not pay 20% like she does on Poshmark. Poshmark takes 20% of whatever you sold your item for. You may sell it cheaper on Mercari, but there is a risk there. People, as I said, I haven't sold anything yet, but I have been told by some of the sellers that they prefer to sell on other venues because it takes a while to get paid there. I don't know how they do it. I think they do it pretty much like Mercari, pretty much like Posh does it, which you don't get paid until that person receives the item and that person says, oh yes, this is the bag I ordered. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfect. I approve it. And then when you give that rating, then Mercari releases the money, or at least that's how they do it on Poshmark. They release the money to the seller. And I think that's the same way it works. You have to rate them, and they do not, and that's what's so tricky about it. It's not very user-friendly. If you have a problem with the item, you cannot say that you accept it or that you received it until you said that there's something wrong with it. Because once you accept it, the money's released. It's very tricky, and I will link those 2 videos down here. But I do love Poshmark. I love selling on there, and I love buying on there. There are lots of good bargains to be had. Lots of good customers waiting to buy your items. But again, you just have to price accordingly. You know you're going to have to price it higher on Mercari on Poshmark than you do on eBay. I've had bad luck with purchasing something there, and I think I told you, and it'll be in the video about how I had a hard time. It took about 20 days to get my money back. I didn't realize that I could have just taken care of it through PayPal. And the same thing happened not too long ago. I bought a phone case. I didn't talk about it in a video, but I bought a phone case for $12. I didn't expect much out of $12, but I bought it, and I bought it because it said that it was going to protect my phone on all 4 corners. Therefore, I thought it would have sort of a little lifted area to protect my phone on all 4 corners, since that's what you're lauding. I get the phone and it's flat. I get the phone case and it's completely flat. There's no way it's going to protect my phone. So I asked for my money back. Mercari asked me to send pictures. They ask you to send pictures just like they do in Poshmark when there's a problem. I sent the pictures, and Mercari sided with the seller and said, no, it was described correctly, and you're going to have to just forget about your $12 and whatnot. Well, I called PayPal, and I told them my situation, and they gave me my $12 back. I'm a little bit leery about buying from there sometimes. I have to really ask a lot of questions, make sure I'm buying what I think I'm buying, because I know that I cannot depend on their customer service. As keepers, and they ask, what are your tips for a newbie who wants to begin selling books on Amazon? Well, all I can say is that it's just kind of a learning curve there. You really learn as you go. I used to use Amazon just to sell my textbooks. I, as you know, am a perpetual student. I had a ton of textbooks for many years, and my kids left their textbooks and whatnot. So I always used it to sell my textbooks. I never realized it till one day I was watching here on YouTube, Picking Profits. I still love him. Great YouTuber. He doesn't need me to shout out his channel because he's got a lot of subscribers. But he was great. And I saw him pick up a book and said, I am selling these books for a lot of money. He was naming them by title and everything. So he showed this huge coffee table book. It was a lifestyle book. And he said he sold it for $150. I recognized the book immediately because it's a beautiful book. And I had it in my collection, just my personal collection, for probably 20 years or so. And I had bought it for a couple of bucks at a thrift store. I sold it. I said, what? I put it on Amazon. It sold within a week for not 150, but 130. Well, ever since then, I have just been very intrigued in watching as many videos that I can on what types of books sell. The first thing you're told is fiction does not do well. I have also read many other things since then, and the philosophy of Amazon being the place where you can find every book ever written. And so I kind of keep that in mind when I'm looking for books as to their obscurity, their uniqueness, their rareness. For instance, I just got this book, and I don't think I've showed it to you in a haul, but I'm going to grab it. And I saw it immediately. I thought it would be a good seller. It's called How to Make a Million, Dowsing and Drilling for Oil, Earl Pyle. And it is scanning up at about $80 on Amazon. So, I mean, this immediately, screams Texana, screams oil. It's not even from Texas, actually, but it immediately just, it harkens back to the glory days of oil drilling and the early pioneers and mavericks in the field. No code on it or anything. So when I looked it up, I mean, I picked it up and I said, this sounds like it would be a subject that is not that much, that is not saturated. It's an older book. It's a subject. It's rare. And like I said, you just really can't teach something like that. I think you really kind of just go by ear. I happen to love books, and you know, my dream job would be to be a librarian, but maybe not in a modern library, because nowadays the libraries are computer, you know, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the libraries aren't the libraries of when I was in high school, where people would just go in there and just drown in books, and that's what it was about. Now it's more like, you know, get your composition done, go in there and do research and whatnot on a computer. It's not the same, but I've always loved books, and I think that helps because I'm just a very curious person, and I like to learn about. The older I get, the more I realize, the more I don't know, and I kind of look that way at books. What subjects were people talking about years ago? What subjects are people still curious about? Psychology, behavior, oil drilling, horses, architecture, history, wars, that kind of thing. I mean, that's really all I can say is that I was recently at a Goodwill, and there was a young couple next to me, and they must have been college kids. And the second time I go to this particular Goodwill, it's kind of a hipster mecca in that area of Houston, and I saw a lot of people around the books, and I saw both of these people with their scanners, and I could see they were using their Profit Bandit scanner, and the girl kept scanning fiction books and kept telling her boyfriend or asking a couple, what do you think about this ranking? What do you think? And I don't even look at ranking, to tell you the truth, because I don't understand all of that so much as I understand that it says it's going to sell. There's so many available, and so forth and so on. And I've been doing it for about 2 years, and I've been making a pretty good living at selling books. I really have. So he tells her, I can tell that people have already been through these books before. There's nothing here. Let's go. So they left, and I had already thrown in about 4 books. And so I found books that were selling anywhere from 75 to, I think 18 was the cheapest one. I didn't find a whole slew of books, but I found 4. So everyone's looking for something else. I don't know if they were looking for textbooks. I saw her looking for a lot of fiction, and but Picking Profit says he makes great money on fiction as well. So, you know, everybody's got their own what they call business plan nowadays. So, and then I saw another book scanner the other day, a bookseller who said he owned a bookstore, and he was talking to the person that worked there. She actually mentioned to him, she tells him, boy, you must read really fast. You're taking quite a few books. And he says, no, I own a bookstore, and I resell. And he says the only books I read are about, I don't know, cowboys or something. I don't know what he said, but he was saying that he sold on Amazon and that he ships everything, obviously, an FBA seller. And he says most people who do what I do are looking for big returns on books. He says I can sell a penny book and make a lot of money on it. So I don't know that philosophy. That question is for somebody else. If you have some comments to let me know, please let me in on your please let us know. Put some information for us on the comment section as to how what that gentleman meant by that. And I found it very interesting and very intriguing, because definitely he was right. I was looking for high return. He was putting tons of books in his basket. He had a basket full. And he was in the business section, and that's another genre that does sell very well, is the business section. Investing, business, management, industrial psychology, that kind of thing. So that's about it there, guys, on the books that I know about. Okay, let me see if there's anything else on this. That was it. I'm sorry I lost that email. I was scrolling through it, and then this Starbucks app came up, and I could not find it anymore. So my anonymous questioner out there, if you want to repost those last, I think I was on number 7, those last questions that I didn't get to, please feel free to do so. And guys, please comment on this video. Please leave me some more questions. And if you have any more insight into that FBA seller who was lauding the penny books and how he still makes a lot of money selling any book on Amazon. Again, a give and take here. Please partake. Please leave me more questions, and I'll talk to you really soon, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye.